And a good morning to you. Time now for the sports section live from Brothers Market in downtown Sigourney on a much cooler day than we've been experiencing here on Saturday mornings in Sigourney. We are off to a chilly start in Sigourney, and we are here for the sports section on Brothers Market. And let's take it to Alan and Bruce and get things rolling on this Saturday morning.
All right, good morning, Steve. Actually, this is the one show we didn't want to have to perform here today. It's our last fall show of the fall football, cross country, and volleyball sports, as everything kind of came to an end last night with Sigourney Keota falling to Dike New Hartford. Bruce, do you have any other scores of interest that?
Williamsburg's still going. Winfield Mount Union won last night, so I think they're the two lone Southeast Iowa teams down here in this area is still going. Regina won again. West Branch lost. Pella Christian got beat by Grundy Center, so Dike will face Grundy Center next week and a chance to go to the Unidome. Linville Sully got beat last night, so they're done for the season. And a lot of Southeast Iowa teams getting ready to go into basketball and wrestling and bowling. Okay,
Steve, we have our first guest here today, Coach Bruce Hahn, who this was a hidden guest from him, just to talk about the SK Junior High football season. And Coach, if you would just want to talk about the season in review a little bit here.
We had I coach with Coach Sellers. He's a head coach, and I assist him, and he runs the offense. I run the defense, and we had a really good season this year with 8th grade and 7th grade. The 7th grade, they went 5-1. Lost a really good game to Mid Prairie by 2 points. The 8th grade, they went 4-1-1. Lost a nail biter to Mid Prairie and then tied Oskaloosa. We play kind of a gauntlet of a schedule like the high school does. Just we look for teams that can give us 2 games. So we play Washington. We beat Washington pretty handily. We played Albia, beat them pretty handily, both 7th and 8th. Davis County and Oskaloosa, and who am I missing?
Pella Christian.
Pella Christian. So,
and Mid Prairie.
And then Mid Prairie. So this year, from 7th through 12th, we swept Pella Christian, which is always kind of a thing on our list that we want to do every year. The 7th grade put up a lot of points this year. Their lowest scoring game was 22 against Mid Prairie, but after that, the next lowest was 46 points. So those boys know how to score. 8th grade's got some really good-looking kids coming into as freshmen next year.
Okay. And of those 8th graders, who's a few of the standout players?
You got Blake Baker coming in. He's a running back. Jackson Cawley, Jordan Jackson, 2 big linemen. I know I'm going to leave people out. You put me on a spot.
That's all part of it.
Jordan Tremmel, he played spin back for us, and then he was middle linebacker. Aiden Greiner, who's going to be fun to watch as he moves through. Levi Yeager and Lance Walden, our defensive ends for me. Cale Starbuck played defensive line, offensive line. Dane Chittick, who was our center. And as everybody knows, in a single wing, the center is huge, and we always say, if we don't say your name and we forget you're out there, you did a good job. And I don't remember saying his name this year. So
he did a really good job.
Yes, he did a really good job. Avon Chitwood and Carson Davis are two other kids that play in the backfield, spin back and tailback. Landon Fish really came along this year. He plays wing back for us, and then he played a defensive back, and the way I play defense, my defensive backs are by themselves. They get no help, and he did a fabulous job this year, and so did Dylan Minke.
Okay. This was your 9th year coaching, I believe?
Yes.
Am I right? And I kind of went through some stats and some games, and since you and I have started coaching together, our overall record is 93-16-1. So that's a pretty good program. I think we got rolling down
I was thinking about that this morning driving into town, and I was like, well, next year will be 100 wins for you and me together. Yeah. So in 10 years to get 100 wins, that's with the teams that we play it's a pretty good accomplishment.
Yeah, exactly, without a doubt. Just a few stats I kind of went through for our junior high program. You were talking about the offense scores a lot of points and the defense didn't give up much. The offense overall in 12 games averaged 44.2 points a game, and they allowed 6.3 points a game. So, and of them 12 games, 8 of them were shutouts. So
yeah, my goal on defense is not to give up a touchdown, and I think the boys really buy into that, and how important it is to keep that 0 on the scoreboard. Because I tell them all the time, if the other team can't score, we can't lose, and we'll find a way to get a touchdown. So I have confidence that some way, somehow, we're going to get points on the board. So if we just keep them at 0, it's pretty hard for us to lose a game.
Right. And Bruce, let's go back just kind of as a first-time coach on here. Let's go back to your elementary days and just kind of let everybody know. I mean, just growing up of the sports that you were involved with, and kind of how you got into coaching after school, and I know you went on to the military, and just a little background of yourself.
Yeah, I graduated from Sigourney High School, spent every year at Sigourney. So I remember back in elementary, we used to have elementary field days, and that's when I learned that I could actually run. And my best sport in high school was probably track. I ran mile, half mile, and 2 mile. That's where I really excelled. I did play football, basketball 1 year, wrestled under Jack Smith, that was always good times back then. And unfortunately, I was in the same weight class as Coach Sellers, so we always had to wrestle off, and I don't think I ever beat him once. So played some baseball, very little baseball. My claim to fame in baseball was my senior year. I played 6 games and stole 4 bases.
And you've got to tell the story about the Little League, when we were in Little League and I was pitching against you.
So we lived out in the country.
Might have been on my team on that one. I don't know.
So we lived out in the country, so it was hard for us to play. Well, my 4th grade year, Alan's mom and dad were nice enough to let me hitch a ride into town to play baseball, and me and Alan were on separate teams, and I got up to bat, and my first time at bat, and I was like, oh, Alan's pitching to me. This will be good. And I smiled at him, and the next thing I know, there was a ball in my ribs, and I think the seams might still be there. And after the game, I said something to him. He was like, don't smile at me.
No, so then after school?
After I graduated in '89, went to the Marine Corps, spent some time in the Marine Corps, came back to Sigourney, and I was approached by a couple of parents to do some Little League baseball. Started coaching some of that. Then my nephew, Zach, moved up to Sigourney, and that's when I really started getting into coaching as far as baseball. Coached some soccer when the soccer program first started in Sigourney. Coached flag football when the flag football program first started in Sigourney. So I did, I think 10 or 12 years of soccer and 10 or 12 years of flag football. And then after that, I went and did some construction, so it was kind of not enough time to do any coaching. Once I got out of that, I came back and was talking to Coach Sellers and Coach Crawford. They needed a assistant coach at junior high, and that's when I decided to come back to coaching sports.
Yep. And I remember, I think the girls are probably seniors now, juniors or seniors, of the little Mighty Dolphins team that you coached in softball that was league champs when they were little.
Yeah, this year will be the last group of the Mighty Dolphins going through. Carly Goodwin was on that, and Maya Smallwood was on that team. So we had 3 really good years of high school softball with those girls that came through that little softball team.
Yeah, and then through the last 9 years of coaching junior high football, maybe not one kid that was just an all-star, but I mean just any of your favorite kids that really stood out to you that that just kind of you had a bond with, that maybe wasn't maybe the best players overall, but just good, really good. And I know they're all good kids, and you and me have a very good bond with the kids, but just maybe a few that just kind of still sticks out in your head. Or
yeah, some of the kids, and it's funny because some of the kids that I have, like, the best bond with still, one of them's Peyton Schaff. The very first year I coached, he was a 7th grader, and he was ornery. And I remember one day at practice just jumping all over him and telling him that if he'd fix his attitude, he'd really be a good football player. And I got on him pretty hard, and to this day, me and Peyton are still good friends. Evan Striegel was another one. I remember running him up and down a hill and him having an attitude with him. I jumped all over him, basically told him that if he didn't like it, he could have his dad call me. And to this day, I mean, I still see Evan. When we were running track over at we went over to Lisbon one year, and he found me to come talk to me. So that's another one that I have a pretty good bond with. Another one is Coach Crawford's son, Levi Crawford. I coached. Levi refers to me as Uncle Bruce. I mean, I've been in Levi's life for a long, long time. Basketball, football, track. So that's another one that really stands out to me. There's so many kids that I've bonded with, and that we've bonded with, and that we still talk to, and they come up and talk to us whenever they see us. They go out of their way to talk to us. One of the other ones that I enjoy talking to still is Jake Morris from over in Kyoto. Jake's a great kid. That's another one that I bond with really well. He only played football 1 year because he was a great runner, but Mason Moore, I still talk to Mason all the time. So there's so many kids out there. Probably the one that's still in high school now is Lou, Chase Clarahan. Most people don't know his first name because they just call him Lou.
Yeah, I don't either.
So, but I mean, me and Lou talk a lot. I've told Lou he can come live with me if he gets tired of dealing with Merle the donkey. So, but there's been so many good kids come through that program, and the biggest thing I notice about kids, you can usually tell a lot on how they're brought up, and good parents raise good kids. And we've had a lot of great parents.
Okay, well, Steve, thank you very much. And Bruce, thanks for coming in this morning as your special guest that you didn't know about. But anyway, thanks, Steve.
All righty. Again, we're doing the sports section here at Brothers Market in Sigourney. As we bring in our next guest, we're taking a look at this week's Keokuk County Hospital and Clinic's Athlete of the Week. That is Emerson Jedlicka of North Mahaska Cross Country. As Emerson, heck of a battle, a heck of a lot of voting going on the Steve Shetler Media Facebook page this week. And Emerson Jedlicka of North Mahaska Cross Country came out on top this week. Emerson, our latest Athlete of the Week. Congratulations to her, courtesy of Keokuk County Hospital and Clinics. Now, viewers of the Steve Shetler Media Facebook page, and we welcome in Reagan Molinex with Alan and Bruce. Guys, take it away.
All right, thanks, Steve. Our next guest is Reagan Molinex of Tri-County Volleyball. Morning, Reagan. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning.
Hi, Reagan.
Hi.
First, I guess, Reagan, just maybe a little, if you want to give us a little review of your season from start to finish, and just tell us how it went there this year.
Yeah, so this year was definitely a building year for us, I would say. Last year we lost quite a bit of seniors that started, and we had a lot of freshmen playing this year, so our record wasn't what we wanted, but we did what we can, and I think that we improved very well.
Very good. And you're a junior, correct?
I am a junior.
So you'll be. Do you guys have most of your kids coming back then? Or?
I think so, and I think that we have a lot of 8th graders coming up this next year that want to play, so that's good.
So how did you revert on the change of coaches here this year?
It was tough because she took a big role stepping up from assistant coach to head coach, so it was a lot different because they have very different coaching styles, so it was it was kind of a big change.
And so then who is the assistant now?
So we didn't have an assistant coach this year, and someone applied, but she kind of dropped the job.
Okay, I see. I guess just maybe if you want to talk about some of your memories here from the season, or just, I don't know.
Well, this year I think It was pretty fun. I took a different role this year. Last year I would hit and I would set, but this year I was just strictly setter, so that was different. And it was kind of a big role that I had to step up and take, but I think I adjusted pretty well, and I had fun with my teammates this year. Lily Randall, she's kind of my main go-to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Steve, I did some stats here too, and Reagan was the leader, and I don't know if these were up to date, but
Yeah.
it's what I got last, was the leader on the team in aces, the leader on the team in assists, which was a ton, like 288. So you're definitely not selfish. And she was in the top 3 in serving, blocks, digs, and kills. So you definitely must be an all-around player. So
Thank you.
is there any of them that you like really focus on, or is it? I don't know that much about volleyball, but
I've really been focusing on my setting this year,
Okay.
just because I know that I needed to step up. Last year we ran a rotation that had 2 setters in it, and this year we only had the one because our other setter was a freshman and she just wasn't really ready for that varsity role yet. So that was something that I had to step up and work on myself a lot.
okay.
I know nothing about volleyball, so
I just sat there and go through. I guess just your opinion here, Reagan, is just like who did you feel was the best in the conference this year, or who was the toughest to play?
We had a lot of tough opponents. Sigourney they were a really good all-around team. They were solid everywhere. North Mahaska, they were pretty solid. I would say Belle Plaine too. All the teams this year were pretty solid teams, but yeah.
And that's funny because earlier in the season we had the Davis sisters come in and interviewed them, and they both said too that they felt like the conference in general, from top to bottom, was even, and you better come to play every night because they really felt anybody could beat anybody on any given night.
Yeah, that's like with our team. Like we came to Sigourney and we had an upset in the Sickle, and we beat Linville, and that wasn't supposed to happen, and we beat them in 5 sets, and that was pretty big for our team because that was like our first like conference team that we had beat, and that was pretty exciting because we can play that night.
Did you really feel like you guys improved as the season went on? And
Yeah, we definitely learned to play together more as a team as it went through, because it was hard starting because we had people in and out, and we just couldn't really figure out a rotation that worked. But we finally got something that we think that worked, and I think that we improved a lot.
so that's positive going into next year then.
Yeah.
Good. Let's see. I guess I wanted to bring up outside of volleyball. I think you were in a play last night. Was that right?
Yes, I was.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well,
What your role was in there?
I was a scientist, and our speech and drama program at Tri-County is actually pretty good. I'm involved in that. I do the speech and I do the play. The play is pretty nerve-wracking. It's like an hour and something, and you got to remember all your lines. And I had a pretty big role, so that was something different. Yeah.
So then, Reagan, also like going back to like kindergarten up to now. I mean, like what else have you been involved with?
Oh, I've done youth sports ever since I was in 1st grade, I think. I did basketball up until my freshman year. It just wasn't, I didn't really have a love for it anymore, but I played it up until freshman year. I've done travel sports like my whole life. I actually played with the Sigourney Shockers team for a while.
Okay.
That was fun. And then I went and played travel sports for another team. I've done travel volleyball and softball like my whole life, so.
Okay, very good. And then just rumor is we've heard that you're dating one of the SK football players.
I've heard that too.
I don't know if that's true or not, Steve, but we just thought we'd bring that up.
Yes.
And I will say, he had a really good game last night.
he
I
did.
did. I was disappointed I couldn't be there, but I got to see some of the end of it, so.
Yeah, and he did get hurt there
I
a
saw
little
that.
bit.
He
but
dinged
you
his
know
shoulder
what?
up a little
You
bit,
could,
but
you could tell he wasn't
wasn't
coming
coming out.
Yep.
He wasn't stopping.
He would
Nope.
play through that.
Yeah. So, I guess last but not least of all your school years, we always just tried to ask who was your favorite coach.
Probably Chad Little
Okay.
for softball. We had a pretty good season last year
Yeah,
and the
you
year
guys did.
before for softball. We went on to round 3 last year to play Twin Cedars. That was disappointing. Lost to them by 1. But, yeah, softball with Chad was definitely my favorite memories.
Okay. All right. Well, Reagan, thanks for coming in today. Appreciate it. And congratulations on winning Athlete of the Week last week. And good luck in the rest of your seasons and whatever you're involved with.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All righty. That is Reagan Molinix, our Athlete of the Week from last week. And again, as we wait for Coach Jensen from Sigourney Keota, we'll take a look at some of the digital deals of the week going on at Brothers Market with the Brothers Market app. Make sure you download the app and take advantage of all these specials going on there. You can see some of those taking place right now. So get that Brothers Market app for the digital deals of the week. Also, let's take a peek. Now, we know Sigourney Keota came up short last night. We can see the next round matchup. These would be the semifinal matchups for Class 3A, 2A, 1A, and 8-player. My bad on that. You can see some of the matchups there. Class 1A has Dyke New Hartford, who beat SK last night, going on to face Grundy Center. Underwood at OABCIG LMMOF.
Try to say that like 5 times in a row, Steve.
Now tell us what they mean, Steve.
I have
name one
school.
Osage.
Nope. Otago, Arthur, Battle Creek, Ida Grove.
Well, of course. Who doesn't know that?
That's where Cooper Eugene's from.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
There you go. Sumner Fredericksburg. Yeah. At Columbus Catholic Waterloo. And then Iowa City Regina at MFL Marmac for your next round in Class 1A. Also here within the area, Class 2A, Van Meter will be at PCM. Who else we got? Monticello at Mediapolis in Class 2A. And in Class 3A, at least here right around our neck of the woods, Williamsburg will be hosting Mount Vernon in Class 3A. Did I miss anybody else? Anybody else in the area,
Did you
guys?
get Winfield Mount Union?
Oh, we got Winfield. Yeah, 8-player. Winfield Mount Union 10-0 is at Don Bosco at 9-1. So some of our matchups. Again, people taking a look at that.
Well, hey, one thing I want to say, Steve, I want to ask Coach. Okay, so you put me on the spot, so I'm going to put you on the spot. Why don't you tell everybody how long you've been coaching SK football?
Oh, boy. This is my 24th year.
24 years of SK football. Started under the tutelage of Bob Howard and did
Bob Howard, the 1 year with Clint Howard, Mark Schilb, and then Jared Jensen.
If you had to guess, how many games do you think you've won, just a guess, as an SK football coach?
Oh, boy. I would say probably over 200, easily with the years with Bob Howard. That was like a 10-win season every year.
And then you always tell this story. I want to see if you come up with the same answer that I got in my head. What, as a JV head coach, your biggest win?
Coach Crawford got us a game once up at Iowa City West, and we throttled them.
That was in my head. So, come on in, Coach.
All right, we're in Coach Jensen for the sports section this morning.
All right, thanks, Steve. Morning, Coach.
Morning, Coach.
This obviously was the interview we did not want to do, but you know what? Every year it's got to come to an end, I guess. Unless you're the state champs, it's always, a disappointing ending to the season. SK finished 8-2. They were 4-time district champs this year. Definitely a gauntlet of a playoff schedule. We kind of ran into a little buzzsaw last night. I guess I felt like every time we were, heading back into it, they just made a big play. But I guess the one thing that we talked about that we were so proud of is, what kids did not give up. And they went down and scored again. To me, they had a great onside kick that we'd almost recovered, and but the kids never gave up. And I know that last game as a senior, it's super tough. I remember when I coached my son's team in the last game when we lost, we stayed on the field crying. We couldn't believe it was over. And you got to take your hats off to those kids that's busted their butts in the weight room and camps and summer workouts, and then it comes to an end. So anyway, Coach, I guess just some thoughts on the way it ended last night. I know it wasn't the way you wanted, but
right. Well, I'm proud of these seniors. Like you said, they've had quite the 4-year run that helped bolster us back to where we're at now. And I think that's just the commitment, the drive, the effort, the commitment, to a greater cause. And when you get kids to buy into the team aspect, the program aspect, and it's not necessarily about me, you can go quite a ways. And I think what they did was remarkable. Hadn't lost a district game, in 4 years. Semifinals, quarterfinals, just shy of the quarterfinals this year. I'm just proud of those guys for their continued leadership, their continued commitment to excellence, and it's all the guys behind them. We told them last night, hopefully you looked up these guys. They've kind of helped raise that bar to where we're at now, and it's kind of your turn to follow. But just super proud of the guys, super proud of the team. I mean, it disappointing, obviously, but we knew Dike wasn't a typical 3 seed. I mean, they're probably a 1 or a 2 in every other district in the state, and I think that goes to show how tough that district they were, that we're in, how tough they were. So, we came out, great teams, you can't really see just the greatness in them, on film. We knew Dike was going to be good. I mean, it wasn't in our minds that this is a 3 seed and, we should win this. And, we knew it was going to be a complete battle. And, it's you have the confidence that you're going to go in and win, but the reality of it is you're in the playoffs now, and every team is there for a reason. And they got the better of us last night, but they just made a few more plays than we did. Their defense did a really good job of kind of bottling us up, not giving us a whole lot. In the run game, we started finding some ways to get some yards there, and then going right before halftime, being 7-3. We felt like, let's get into this half, keep them out of the end zone, keep it 7-3, and they ended up scoring with 20 seconds to go in the half, and to 14-3, which is still manageable, and we still had the confidence that we could ball. They broke off a big run and scored, 21-3, and it's just we've got to find a way. Let's turn it up and go, and put a drive together, went down and scored. Down 10 again, and all right, we're right where we want to be, and then the ensuing kickoff, for a touchdown, and it was just every time we took a couple steps forward, they took a big leap forward, and just couldn't quite catch up. But our kids didn't quit. We kept playing hard defensively. 36, the Borshading running back kid was a horse, and that was one kid that on film we knew he looked good, we knew he ran hard, didn't know he was that fast, and so that kind of was a little bit surprising when he broke off a couple of those big runs. He just hits the hole hard and fast, and at that point, some teams might lay down, but, we just kept rolling. We kept going. We had to do some things we haven't really done a whole lot this year, but, threw the ball more times this game than we have all year long, and, found a way to get down there and score again, 10-point game, again, but obviously the time ran out on us, and we took the loss, but, it's still, the loss still hurts, but I'm just still proud of what our guys were able to accomplish this year.
I know throughout the season, speaking of the resilience of the kids, it would have been pretty easy for them just to cash it in the beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. I mean, you lose your starting running back, you go over to your next game, you lose one of your starting possibly all-state linemen, he's out. The resilience of our kids showed what they're brought up to be, the culture of our program, and and how they respond to adversity, and that's a testament to the coaching and the parents. Mm-hmm. They really showed gut and grit last night. Mm-hmm. I know I saw. Can you speak a little bit about Kindred, what he did? And I saw he dinged his shoulder, but he came back in. You knew that kid wasn't going to stay out.
Yeah, separated his shoulder. It was out, and trainer came over and told me that, and I'm like, he said, I can't get it in. We're going to give it a little time, try to get it back in, and if not, he's probably going to have to go. And luckily he got that thing in because Cole had a pretty big night. I think he ended up with 136 receiving yards, and
just some amazing catches too.
Yeah,
that one out of bounds, or it wasn't out of bounds, but on the sideline.
Yeah, I mean,
that was a college
all those
catch.
Guys didn't want to go home, and they all played their butts off, but separated shoulder, and luckily he got it back in, and he said he felt fine. I never separated my shoulder, but I can't imagine it felt very good. And even when it goes back in, can't imagine it feels great. He said, I'm fine. Let's go. I said, all right, let's just focus on D. Let's see where we're at there. And then I think that first series, Cale Clarahan came off cramping again, so Cole just stayed in there, and okay, if you feel good enough, let's go. And he had some big plays there that second half for us.
Yeah, I noticed there after they got a pop back in there toward the end, I saw him and the trainer go down, and I think I told Coach Sellers, he's telling him he's going to play again. Mm-hmm. He's the trainer may be saying no, Cole's saying I'm going back in.
Yeah. I mean, he and I don't think the trainer was saying no. He does a great job for us, and he said, if we can get back in, we'll see what his pain tolerance is, and if he can play. We just had to get that thing. As cold as it was, I'm sure everything wasn't very loose, and but luckily he got that thing popped back in.
And I don't know if you checked out many scores there last night, Coach, but two of the teams we've already played, PCM and MIPO in Class 2A, are in the quarterfinals. I mean, that just tells how tough our schedule was this year. And Mid Prairie and Pella Christian were both playing last night too. So, I mean, just what a schedule to
to
go 8-2. I mean,
right? Yeah, I mean, we knew there was going to be some good teams there. I with what we saw out of PCM, we knew they were going to make a deep run, and Mid Prairie. Even though they're junior and sophomore heavy, obviously they have some seniors, but more younger group. We knew they were going to be talented, and then obviously Mediapolis, what they've done in the past, and their culture and their team. We knew they were going to be a tough team, and that's four playoff teams that we played of our 8-game schedule. All 4 were still playing in the round of 16, and now 2 are playing in the round of 8. So, tough schedule, and I think that set us up for success throughout the season. I mean, even though it was brutal, we got a lot of injuries those first couple games. The ones we did get back, I think there was growth throughout the whole team because of a lot of the guys that had to fill in and step up. So, tough schedule, but we're not happy it's over, obviously, but I'm still proud of all the guys on the team, and that goes from seniors to freshmen. And we talked with the freshmen, this week. Obviously, their season's over, and even the sophomores, that were JV guys, their season was over, and now it was just time to, take that next, play on the scout team, show us what you got on the other side of the ball from some of the the starters or the second team that was running reps, and because kind of started hearing some grumblings that some of them wanted to be done, and it's like I get it, but the reality is once that JV season's
what do you take off for time before you start up again, Coach?
Well, we'll take this week off. We'll probably get back in the weight room. in 2 weeks. I think once kind of basketball gets going, that'll be kind of the transition. I'll go in the mornings for basketball players and really anybody else that wants to come in and lift as well, just to stay on a routine and keep going. And it's on to the next season. Obviously, wrestling kind of does their own lifting as well, just in the morning with their conditioning and all that stuff. But it's just we suggest going out for another sport. Go play something, go compete. Don't just sit off, take a season off. Go compete in something. The competitive edge, I think, is a mental thing. And if you only play one sport, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think mentally, that edge within yourself for competition is not as high as it would be if you were playing other sports.
Right.
I know I always tell the kids, I go play something even if you're not good at it. It will make you better at what you want to be good at.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just getting out and continuing to progress athletically, I mean, we don't just lift for football. I think that's kind of a myth that used to be only football players lifted. And I mean, you look at all athletes throughout the world, whether it's Olympic athletes, professional athletes, college athletes, high school athletes, lifting is part of that athletic regimen, and just the lifting, the conditioning, the speed and agility work, the plyo work. We try to combine all that together, to just try to make an overall well-rounded athlete, and I think that's paid dividends, for us as a team, for other sports as a team. It's not, you can't solely rely on your athletic ability anymore. Because a lot of those average players that have put the time in, got faster, speed and agility, quicker feet, jump higher, they're catching the ones that aren't necessarily doing it and just relying on their own athletic ability. So, I think it's just we try to stay throughout the year. Obviously, it's all kind of in-season lifting at this point, so 2 times a week. But we just hope everybody stays on track and continues to grow in that aspect.
And I know that's what we've kind of preached to the junior high kids too. A lot of them that are, a little bit above and beyond. I mean, that, you're going to have to work once you get to high school, because your athletic ability is not going to take you what you've done here in junior high. And I know last year, we kind of did a little taste of lifting over the summer with the junior high kids, and I'll tell you what, they were so jacked, and just every time we run into some of them kids, like when we lifting, and so they've kind of bought in already. And I even feel like this last fall, it helped our kids. They were just a little bit stronger than some of the teams we played, and but hopefully they'll keep working hard. So
yeah, absolutely.
So now that football's done, what's next on your schedule? What do you got?
Basketball team and anybody else that wants to come in and kind of start some junior high. I'd like to try to get the junior high with the high school in the mornings, but the reality is with basketball teams playing essentially Tuesday, Thursday, the Monday Tuesday, Friday. For football, we went Monday, Wednesday in the mornings, but a lot of late nights there on Tuesday nights in basketball season. So I would assume it'll go Monday, Thursday, just so, Sunday night, no late night turnover. But, with the high school boys, high school girls, junior high boys, junior high girls, that's a lot of athletes in there in one morning. So I typically I'll take, the kids that aren't out for wrestling right away, junior high wise, and take them and do some stuff in the afternoons after school with them. So we just got to try to figure out what's going to work for us, but we'll be doing that. Be doing once we hit Christmas, obviously, I'm doing junior high boys basketball, so we'll get going during Christmas break and have that season till mid-February, and then after that, a week or 2 off, and right into the track season. So got a little window here before Christmas off, and then it starts all back up again, and then summer hits, and then we're starting with football all over again. So
well, I know you're probably busy tonight because somebody had a birthday yesterday. Mrs. Mindy Jensen
Yep.
had her birthday yesterday. I got to say happy birthday to her last night, so you probably got to treat her now that you can make up for all those nights of being gone.
Well, and again, it's a busy life. We are going to do some celebrating, but happy birthday, obviously. Friday night's not the night probably to have a birthday and want to celebrate because I can't be there. And then tonight we get to go celebrate by going to Cedar Rapids for Jay's AAU tournament. So she gets to go watch sports again, and I'll try to make it up to her. I know next week we're going as kind of a family going to the Iowa State game, and with another friends of the family, and so the celebration might not happen right now, but we're gonna kind of try to pamper her throughout the week, and get some bonding time with some friends next weekend.
But going to basketball, there's probably no place she'd rather be.
True that. I mean, other than on a date with my wife.
Right.
But second to that is probably going to watch a little basketball. So,
my last question for Coach here, kind of outside of high school football, is I want to shout out to Dave Peterson for explaining it to me last night. But what was your take on the Cooper DeJean fair catch, Coach? I mean, I know you're not a big Hawkeye fan, but you played against Cooper. You know Cooper.
Well, when I saw, because I was watching that at that point in time, and I always thought overhand signals fair catch. With what he was doing, he was pointing with one hand and telling him to get away with the other. I thought it was a return for a touchdown. I thought it should have stood, but as soon as they scored, you could just tell there was something wrong, and they kind of just, no one was saying anything. And then they come out and say that, under review or whatnot. But, Cooper's a dude, and just to make that play. And my thing is if it was a fair catch, why wasn't the whistle blown?
Yeah.
When he did catch it and go to get tackled, why wasn't there a flag? Because you touched the person. There was a lot of variables there. I'm not an official by any means, but probably thought that touchdown should have counted, and Iowa probably should have won that game.
Yeah, that was and I was still stewing last night going into the SK game, and then Dave kind of explained a little bit as an ex-official of what, but he's just like, I've never ever heard that been called before.
I don't know if you're using both hands.
Yeah.
Okay, two hands is still a fair catch.
Just unbelievable, but
and if it's my question is if they're saying if the wording is invalid, then it's either a fair catch or it's not. If it's an invalid fair catch, then he wasn't calling for a fair. It just doesn't make any sense.
Right. I agree.
Oh, well.
I agree.
Well, that goes back in lines with last night when they give us a first down, then take the chains back to measure. I've never seen that in a football game before, ever.
Yeah, I kind of questioned that a little bit. I know our sideline was questioning that a lot.
I know our fans were questioning that a lot. I know our fans were questioning that a lot.
But not moving yet, so they still were able to put it back, argue it. They're like, nope, sorry. First down, and Coach Betts got the opportunity to get them brought back, and
you guys did a great job. Very proud of the SK Cobras. On to next season, I think we're going to be in probably the same boat as this year. A rough schedule, new guys, should be exciting.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. Well, hey, thank you guys for being the host, and thanks Steve Shetler Media for putting this on. I think it's been a good thing all season long.
Yep.
I know your dad enjoys it.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. All right.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep. See
Are
you
we
guys.
keeping
Thanks,
Coach
Coach.
around for
All right.
pick'ems?